Okay, let's rock it. It's a new week. Oh, Ken, be quiet and let the music play.
I will follow him wherever he may go. There isn't an ocean too deep, a mountain so high it can't keep
Leave
me
me
away.
away.
He's gonna find me and if I he's gonna show me what the heart of mine. That's why I can't
So, the reason I'm doing this, so I was talking to a friend of mine who knows a little bit more about the internet, and he was saying if you do snippets, it may not get picked up by the algorithms that are whatever that detect music, right? So I found this thing and I posted pop songs in 1963, and as you heard, it's maybe 15 seconds, maybe less of a song. So I'm thinking, hey, let's rock that back for a few minutes and see what happens. Well, thank you, Joan. Hi, Kathy, Chris, Lisa, Rachel. So yeah, might as well talk about photos because here's the story behind the photos. Um, okay, it's not a long story, but it's not a short story. Okay, but let me introduce myself because there may be somebody that doesn't know me that's listening on YouTube and doesn't understand that I'm talking to people on Facebook because there's no way that if you tune in on YouTube and you didn't know the deal, you'd know what's going on. So today is May 3rd. It's a Monday. It's 6:02 p.m. now. This is Law and Order with your host, Ken Goldberg, and I am your host. So that's what's happening, people on YouTube. Back over here on Facebook, let me explain. Let me explain what's happening, okay? Okay? Join this thing. So, hey, Mark. So this is the deal. I was in Tucson 2 weeks ago, and my friend Elaine, she acquired something called Passbook, and Passbook probably is owned by Facebook. And what they do is they promote, and they'll say, "Hey, we'll make you a book of your photos on Facebook, right? And we're going to make it all easy for you to be a nice little book." Well, I'm not interested. So I never paid that any attention, never clicked on the button. I don't think I did. And so, anyways, I got to Elaine's house and she bought one. And it was really nicely done. It was hardcover and there were pictures on every page. And I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. Now, what she did was she clicked and it said, we put a book together for you. And she bought it the way they put it together. I wanted to edit mine. I wanted to customize it. Well, here's the diggity dig, okay? Not so easy. So I have spent a good part of the last few days. So here's how it works. So you download photos. You can download them from anywhere, but I've been downloading on Facebook because that's where I found the easiest access to, and they make it easy. So I'm going through thousands of pictures, and then you click on them, and then you upload them, and they always whatever you upload goes to the front of whatever you've already got. So I had already arranged everything each time, and so let's pretend like I've got 200 photos, and I've arranged them in my head. I've got them arranged according to like me and my parents and my sisters, me and my brother, me and some other relatives, me and Ricky, my little brother, then me and my oldest friends. So I had categories in my mind, and as I discovered photos, I would download them. Well, here's the thing: no matter what you arrange, the new photos go to the front. So let's say you found another 20 photos. Now you've got to go through each of those and you got to put them where you want them, and it takes time and effort, and sometimes your cursor comes off it and it disappears, and you got to go look through all the photos, what happened to it. So I'm spending hours doing this, and then one time I picked out 54 photos and hit upload to this passbook, and said, okay, you're finished. And no, it didn't do anything. It just kept spinning. I'm like, well, that was a lot of time, because I went through probably 20 albums, they call albums, and picked out photos. And I don't want to go through that. It took well over an hour, right? So I contact them, and they're like, well, try again later. Man, I typed I got ugly. I didn't cuss or anything. I didn't get vulgar, but I got ugly. I said, thanks for nothing, right? So I don't do 50 at a time. I do maybe 20. So I got it up to, but I don't know how many photos you get. It's not clear. So I decide, okay, it looks like I get 300 photos for one price, or $299. I'm going to do that, one per page. Well, when I went to buy the book, I finished it last night. I went to finish the book, and it didn't offer me a hardbound. I hope you're not bored with this story, but you may want to do this yourself someday, learn from my mistakes. There's no hardbound. So I typed them this morning, these people, and I said, hey, man, first off, it's not offering me the hardbound anymore. It stopped offering it. And I want a bigger discount. Yeah, I did. I said that. So they came back and said, okay, you can have that extra discount, because they were offering it anyways. And the reason you're not being offered the hardbound is the way you've designed the book, it exceeds the number of pages that we can put into a hardbound edition. Oh, I don't understand. Okay, it's not the number of photos, it's the number of pages. So I click a button very quickly, and I say 2 photos to a page. Now I'm half the number of pages I was. So I'm no longer at 300 pages, I'm at 150. I can now upload another 300 photos to this deal for the same price. So I'm like, I'm in. Because Ken is such a stickler for value, right? But I don't stop there. I decide that in looking through all these photos, I'm like, I wonder whatever happened to this photo or that photo. Real photos, not digital, right? So I went looking, and I found a box. Hold on. Oh, here we go. I found this box filled with photographs and some, what do you call it, negatives, right? So I start digging in, and oh my God, it's a treasure trove of photos, right? So I don't know how to scan them into digital. So I'm sitting here all day long with my phone, taking pictures of pictures, and then putting them into my storage on Facebook, which is why you all saw that I was dumping photos into Facebook to load them up later, because I can't do it from my phone. You dig what I'm saying? That's not one of the options. When you say upload photos, it doesn't give you the option to go to your phone. So, and I don't know how to use Google with my phone. So I've been putting them into Facebook, and then I'm going to go back, in the next couple of days. I'm going to move them into the book again, arranging another 300. So, but wow, it was a trip. Everybody here, Joan saw the old photos. She's not in any of them. Lisa's not in any of them. Chris will be in a photo where there's one where we were given the finger while we were bicycling. That made the book, but and it made the internet too at some time. But Mark certainly would have recognized, and Ann would have recognized Cinda Roberts. You would recognize Norman Nakama and Ariel Brenner and stuff like that. Ray Dean would have recognized Gary and her daughter, Ray Dean's daughter, were in photos that I sent out today. Anyways, all I'm saying is it was a stroll down memory lane. Whoa, Jesus. And I'm not even close to getting through this box. And Carrie and I, that's my oldest friend in the world, Carrie. He lives in San Rafael, California. Carrie and I hiked for years and I took photos, but I never marked where we were when I got the photos back. Big mistake. I have no idea where we are in any of the photos, but I have dozens, maybe hundreds of photos. He and I, and then after 6 years, our friend Marv joined us. I have dozens of photos of us hiking, and I was the one that said, hold it, let's stage a photo here, let's get a photo there. And so I sent him a lot of photos, which stimulated him to go get a box of photos he had, and he started texting me some photos. And anyways, so photos had become this big deal. Oh, and another little anecdote is I decide, well, wait a second. There are other companies do this. Why don't I look into it? Because I'm up to $100 for a photo book. And I don't know if that's fair enough. I should look. So I go on the internet last night and I'm looking. Yeah, there's other services and I could do this for less money, but I'd have to start over again. And Ken wisely threw in the towel and said, whoa, that would be crazy. Now, if I could have taken the book I had and gotten some other site to just suck the book up and I could have started from there, that'd be one thing. But I knew how many hours, days I had spent putting together the first 300 photos. So I wasn't going to start over again. So anyways, yeah. So I'm working on this and I've got so many photos. I'm telling you, my desk is filled with photos. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Don't even know where that is. Have no clue. None. Right. I mean, oh, look, I was at Buckingham Palace once when I was in law school in Oxford. I went to I went into London and visited the Queen. That's what's his name, the actor. I saw him backstage when Jerry Spence and I were getting ready to go on a TV show. Leslie, what's his name? Anyways, he was there. Two famous wrestlers. I no clue, but apparently they were famous at the time. So and on and on and on it goes. I mean, my gosh, we're just. Oh, here's buffalo. I went to Yellowstone. If you've ever been to Yellowstone, the buffalo they have herds of buffalo that roam freely. You just have to be careful around them, right? So look at me showing like showing you photos of people you don't know as if you'll be interested because I mean, what the hey? What the hey? Oh man. My submachine gun I used to have, fully automatic submachine gun. What a day it's been. I mean, I found photos of my gun range before I converted it to a gun range. In other words, when I bought the building to convert it, it was a video processing warehouse. And I got pictures of that. I didn't know I had. It's been a minimum of 10 years since I went through this book. So I'm just discovering and photos going back to when I worked with kids, with the locomotion. I got photos, as you may have seen. I found photos of me as a child, a baby almost. One with my brother. My brother's laying on a couch and I got my head on his ass. Hope he didn't fart. That would be just like him, anyways. There's one, and there's another one in front of our garage in our house. You can see the car in the garage. It's pretty interesting to me. And like I said, I have many more photos to go through. I'm not even close. And I stayed home today. It was a nice day. I could have bicycled, but I didn't. I stayed right here doing that. Oh, and I cooked a Malnati's pizza, a deep dish pizza. Like I think it says on the label, 7 million calories in one pizza. So I asked this kid that rents a room here. I saw him this morning. He was in the kitchen. I said, do you like pizza? Oh, yeah, I like pizza. I said, well, I got a deep dish, you know. You feel free to have some because I'm going to make it. This is 10:45 in the morning. I'm thinking pizza, right? So anyways, I cooked it, but he split. I don't know if he went to work, what he did. So there was nobody here to share with. Now, a normal person would have taken the pizza, probably, if they'd even bothered to make it, knowing there was nobody to eat with them, and maybe put some away. Because 1/5 of a pizza is like a serving, and I've eaten well over half. So that's more than 2/5. Anyways, you might have thought I would store some of it, right? Well, here's the thing. So I finished cooking it at probably around 11:30. 11:30, maybe noon. And I've been nibbling at it, and it's still on top of the oven. You know, I brought it out, put it there. I never put it away. I didn't put it in the refrigerator. I didn't put it in the microwave. I haven't warmed it up. I just keep going and cutting another piece off and eating it cold, because cold deep dish pizza is just almost as good as warm. Not quite, but it's fine. It's just fine. And then this friend of mine that some of you know, Domingo, he called me. He's in the United States, and we chatted for a long while, because we had a lot of catching up. And that was stimulated because I found a picture of him from 25 years ago, and I sent it to him in a text. And, you know, he said, oh, yeah, I remember that day. And so he said, hey, let's talk. And I'm like, yeah, just give me a call. So I sent a picture to Carrie's daughter, Emma. She just got married last year. She's, I don't know, 30-something years old. Don't ask me how old. Grown woman. Well, there's a picture of her on my shoulders and her little brother beside me. Her older brother was beside me, but she's on my shoulders. And so I sent her that, and she's like, oh, that's so cute, you know. And I sent Carrie pictures of him hiking. I sent Ariel Brenner a picture of herself when she was young. And this other woman, Donna Bailey from Hyde Park, I sent her some pictures. Sam Dorlock. Okay, so some of you know Sam Dorlock. I sent Sam Dorlock a picture of himself, and he says to me, looks like me. I think he's joking. So I'm like, yeah, similar, I said. And he wrote and he said, is that me? And he said, seriously. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I don't know how far removed you got to be from reality not to recognize yourself in a photograph. Because for the main part, you could show me a picture of myself at various times in my life. I'm pretty sure, except for when I was a baby, because I know what I looked like. But apparently Sam he wasn't sure it was him. So any questions? I'll stop and answer your questions about photos, life, whatever you want. It's only 6:18. We got some time here. And by the way, I thoroughly enjoy your companionship, and I really appreciate that any of you still, you know, turn on your computer or click the button that says Ken Goldberg is live now. I was explaining to somebody somewhere along the line the nature of it all. That was a great photo of Sam. How do you know? I don't think I posted the photo of Sam. Did I? Did I post a picture of Sam? Oh, no, that's not the photo. There was, he posted it. Oh, okay, I just saw that. Okay, thanks, Kathy. Because I posted another picture of him in the Hyde Park group, because it was Domingo, Sam, and I think Clarence Duncan. So, okay, yeah, thank you. See, there's a delay because Kathy's like, yeah, Sam did it. Yeah, didn't occur to me he would post it, right? And like I say, this woman that I grew up with, Ariel, she reached out. She wanted to know this picture I sent her. I posted 2 pictures of her, but I sent her another one. It's just me and her. And she's like, how old is this picture? And I said, I think it's 1990. I don't know. You know, I sent my sister a picture. She's like, wow, I was young then. She says, like, how old was she in that picture? I'm like, I think it was when I graduated from college. And I graduated from college around 1983. So I said, I think it's my college graduation party. She didn't know. I don't know. It's a long time ago. I posted a picture of myself at my law school graduation, along with my mom and dad, who were, in fact, very proud that I became a lawyer. So, okay, I said I was open to questions, concerns, criticisms, critique, whatever. We're not going to talk about Andrew Brown, who was buried today after being shot by the cops, and whether they should release the video in a timely manner or not. You all already, you either hit the story or not hit the story. I'm not going to get myself excited with worrying about, I just want Al Sharpton to just do something else for a while, just get off my TV screen because I'm tired of you. He's not the only one I'm tired of. And I'm tired of people yelling at me when I've been on their side or beyond, right? To space and beyond. So, if nothing else, if I don't say anything more in this podcast, I've given you the gift of 1963's top songs. So I did my job today. Okay, so do you want me to show you more photographs? Is that what you're holding out for? Because my God, ladies and gentlemen, they're just here. This is England. I seem to be I didn't stay in a hotel, I don't think, but maybe I did. I went to England. I went to London twice, and that's clearly London. All right. So I clearly I was there. A picture of one of my cats. That was oh God, can't remember each of the cats I've had. I've had so many cats over the years. I got pictures of my dog. I got pictures of, oh my God, it's really kind of overwhelming. You can only post so many pictures, right? So you're like, how many of which do you want? You want to categorize them, right? There's my dog Misty. Misty and I went down to Louisiana and back in my car. And then, so Misty used to go to work with me when I worked with the kids at Locomotion. So we went on a 3-week vacation. We drove everywhere. So Misty was in the car. I'd stop and let her walk along, at the rest stops and everything. Well, anyways, we got back and went to sleep, unpacked my clothes. Next work day, I get up and come on, Misty. Misty didn't need a leash. She followed me. So we get out to the car and Misty looked at the car and you could tell what she said. She said, oh, hell no. The last time I got in that car, I didn't get out for 3 weeks. Turned around and went back to the house and sat down at the door and said, I'm not going with you. No, I know what's going to happen. I'll be stuck in a car for 3 weeks. So that I had to give the dog away because the dog just didn't want to go anywhere with me because I taxed its capacity driving in a Toyota Celica for 3 weeks. So yes, I've sent pictures of Mark to him, a picture of when he was visiting his grandmother at the cloisters. I don't know that I've posted a picture of Kathy and Ray Dean. I got one coming up in the book, Ray Dean, that I took 2 weeks ago when I was in Tucson. Who else? Pretty much anybody who's been in close proximity to me for more than an hour or so has had their picture taken either with me or near me. And, that's just the way I roll, man. Memories. Time travel in a sense, right? Because there are a variety of personalities when it comes to attachment to the past. And my friend Kerry has never gone to a school reunion. He has almost no friends from Chicago except me and this one other guy that I know of. He goes to Chicago exclusively to visit his family. I, on the other hand, I have attachments everywhere I've lived. I still go back to Hyde Park and call a meeting of the tribe. I still am on a Facebook group for South Shore, which preceded Hyde Park. I'm in the Hyde Park Classics group. I got all my friends in AA in Tucson and Dallas and Chicago. And I'm not good with letting go of people places and things after I've kind of let them into my life. I I really enjoyed Oxford. I have very fond memories. I don't think I have the picture um, of. I had a really great picture of the moon um, over my where I was living. Um, Here's a nice one of me and my second wife. But I have no idea why we are under a blanket. I'm assuming it was chilly because it's not usually the way we roll. Um, Somewhere I have a picture. Oh, here it is. Oh, this is a good one. So this one I took one night. How do we know if it's that way or this way? Anyway, so let me tell you the story behind this. So I lived at Oxford at Magdalen College. Magdalen College is one of, I don't know, maybe 30 colleges that comprise Oxford University. So Oxford University doesn't really exist except conceptually. Uh, so Oxford University is a conglomeration of colleges in the city of Oxford. And you have Magdalen and St. John's. You got a bunch of really nice campuses, and I stayed at Magdalen. Nice thing about Magdalen is they had a deer park, an actual deer park. It's very cool outside my dorm. So, but anyways, we had walking trails and canals you could walk on. So I went out one night. It was summertime, and I was walking through the woods, and I saw this moon, and it was just stunning. Pictures never do justice to it. So I ran back to the room and I got my camera and I came back and I took a picture of it. And yeah. And then this is my mom. She's on a cruise. I don't think you could see very well. I don't know where the cruise is. The back says complete address. This existed before I was born. My mom was 39 when I was born, so I know this picture predates me. So I have no way, and now that she's gone, I'll never know. Anything else you wanted to know? You wanted to know about this waterfall, Snoqualmie Falls? Isn't that magnificent? Okay, that's in Washington, outside Seattle. Snoqualmie Falls. You know where you saw this falls? In Twin Peaks. They filmed the opening there. I'm just a font of information. Most of it absolutely useless. Um, but maybe tomorrow I will actually select photos instead of doing this spontaneously and suddenly telling you, oh, guess what? I have photographs for you to look at since I hadn't prepared a show, right? Because it seems to me that that could have been an interesting show, but mostly I've just been posting it on the internet, right? So everybody was talking to me for a moment today. My ex-wife Lori, my sister, some friends. It's been a jolly good day. That and deep dish pizza. I mean, does a human need more contact, more nurturing than to simply have a deep dish spinach pizza, the companionship of photographs of great friends, and then to close the day by doing a podcast with a community of people that have been very affectionate towards me? No, I'm sorry, I don't think so. You know what I do have? Remember when you used to get pictures taken, film, and you take it to the thing, and they started giving you what amounts to a contact sheet. It was a picture of the pictures, a small one of all the pictures contained therein, and I see 3 of them never came out. But you know how that was when you had film. A lot of times you didn't know there was nothing on there until after you had developed it. And then you're like, oh my God. Um, oh, there's me laying on the bed. There's the DFW gun range. Oh, that's interesting. That looks like Shawana. I don't even know how I have a picture of her. So, do I have pie or ice cream? I have I still have some of the Edwards chocolate silk pie frozen, and I still have some chocolate malt caramel ice cream that you may recall I accidentally defrosted last week. Well, I haven't finished it yet. In fact, today I haven't had dessert. It's on my list. I had root beer with my pizza, so that made me feel guilty about doing more sugar. But now that you've said that, I think the odds are that I will end up having ice cream. So, so go ahead. Comment on uh, um, your what is this? So somebody's trying to scam me. Okay. So here, you probably got one of these. Understanding FNMA enhancements. You get this thing. It says your conventional loan with Wells Fargo has been identified as benefiting from the aggressive enhancements made to Fannie Mae eligibility. Contact us immediately to find out what you can do. Um, I don't want to do anything. Con men, they get your name. Maybe they're not con, but I don't need to be the target of some sort of marketing campaign I didn't sign up for. So there, I say that, and I say that with meaning. Here we are on a bridge over a rushing river. Isn't that nice? So that doesn't look as old because I've got white hair there. So it's a good thing that my legs don't get burnt because I go out a lot in shorts during the year. And luckily, I inherited my father's complexion, which is, I think they call it olive complected. So when I go out in the sun, if I don't use sunscreen, all I do is get tan. I don't burn very much. So here I am. This is my natural look. I know you're going, he's really desperate. He's talking about a tan he doesn't even have. This boy is really just run out of shit to say, right? No, no. The fact of the matter is, I can babble for the remaining 18 minutes. No, it's not 18 minutes, 13 minutes. I was never good at math. All right, cut me some slack. So I went to school with these two boys. One's name was Bobby, actually probably Robert, right? But when we were kids, it was Bobby. His last name was Reuben. The other one was named Kenny, like mine, Kenny Kahn. So the three of us kind of grew up within a block of each other. Bobby lived right across the street. Kenny lived on the backside, right, of the street, and a house on the other side. So the three of us tended to be in school together, and we were in some social clubs together. Where the kids do arts and crafts and stuff after school. So, and they're two of the guys that I had to write and apologize to. Um, so what was I going to tell you? Well, okay. I don't know. I don't know where was I going? Well, anyways, let me tell you about these two guys. Really nice guys, right? And really smart. So in eighth grade, I don't know how many of you had this. In eighth grade in Chicago, if you were like extraordinary student or if you were more extraordinary than me, you got to go to high school and take algebra while you were still a freshman. I mean, while you were still an eighth grader. So when you got to school the next year, freshman high school, you already had one credit, right? You already had algebra out of the way. So there's a group of kids in my school. They went there. They must have been, I don't know, maybe 8 of them. I don't really know. I never went with them. And they went before school. So they went early and they went to Hyde Park High School for this. Luckily, they were going early in the morning because Hyde Park High School wasn't a cool school for kids from South Shore. So I became a social worker. Bobby became a rabbi, and Kenny became an IT guy. He was a professor of artificial intelligence at Stockholm University. So about, I don't know, 15 years later, I was now doing social work with kids, and I got hired to work in Morgan Park and at Morgan Park High School. And I walk in, and there's my track coach, Mr. Slick. I'm not sure what his first name was. Mr. Slick had been my track coach, but he was also a physics teacher at South Shore High School. And I remembered him, And I remembered that Bobby and Kenny had been in his class. So I say, hey, Mr. Slick, how you doing? I was on your track team. He didn't remember me, right? If he did, it wasn't a fond memory. And I said, hey, I'm wondering, do you remember Kenny and Bobby? And he said, those are the two smartest kids I ever had in my class. These are the type of kids that I grew up with. I ran with these boys, but I never had their intellect. I mean, I wasn't stupid, but I never had their intellect. These are kids who were taking physics and calculus in high school. I had to take algebra 2 times and geometry 1 time, and then they terminated my participation in math programming more because they just said, it's kind of like French. I flunked French 2 times, French 1, 2 times. So they gave up on making me take French. I had a stellar career. And then in the synagogue, again, Bobby and Mandy Patinkin were outstanding. They were good students. They were participants in the whole Jewish community and the whole sense of participation as a religious youth trying to grow in this, Judaic tradition. While I would literally on Saturdays in the wintertime, everybody hung their coat up in a coat room. It wasn't an attendant. You just went in there and hung up your coat. And my job was to sneak out of the Sabbath services and go through all the pockets of all the coats. And I would get enough money, change, it wasn't dollars, but I'd get change through enough of those to go down to O'Connell's on 53rd and Hyde Park Boulevard and get myself some breakfast. So I didn't grow up with the same kind of, the community did not admire me and embrace me in the same way it did a young man who was just, stellar intellect, to participate in his religious community, staying out of trouble. That wasn't me, but I'm telling you, I had friends like that. So if you can brag about yourself via your friends, which I do, by the way, I do that with this podcast. I tell people about this podcast and I'd say, I have this lovely group of friends, many of whom I grew up with on the south side of Chicago, who I communicate with via this podcast every night. So I brag about you, but I'm not going to brag about you right now. I'm bragging about Kenny and Bobby back in South Shore, not Hyde Park, South Shore. We moved out of South Shore when I was 14. Bobby was a really nice, gentle, nerdy human being. We didn't have the word nerd, right? But that's what these guys were. They were good at sciences. They were good at math. They were well behaved in school. Nothing like me. So, in a sense, Bobby's parents eventually reached the point where they said, unless they were in the house, I wasn't allowed to come over. That's not what I was going to tell you. I was going to tell you that Bobby was a real nice kid, and he was really short like me. I was one of the 2 shortest kids in my grade school. Bobby was the other one. Anyways, Bobby was under the protection of the Blackstone Rangers. I know this. I don't know if he knows this. I haven't seen him since I was 14, so I don't know. But I knew that he was such a nice kid, although he didn't have a hip bone in his body. The black kids really liked him because he was just a nice kid. I was under the protection of Blackstone Rangers by virtue of my insinuating myself into the gang. I was like, hey, I want to join, I want to hang out with you guys. I want to grow up to be a gangbanger too, and they were like, you're a funny kid. All right, sit down and, you can hang out, but, you don't know how to fight. So, but they would protect me. So I give you an example. So, and if I've talked about this, stop me, feel free. I was in the ground during recess. And while I had been in class, math class, I remember it was with Mrs. Dowd, my 8th grade teacher. This young black boy, Jim Barnes, Shane Barnes. How do I know that name? I have no idea. Anyways, he was through the class. It wasn't something he did all the time. That day, He typically was not a bully or a mean kid, but he was taunting me, a little bit physical, a little bit psychological. And so we went to recess, and the tough guys came up to me and said, what was going on in class with you and Jim, or James, whatever his name. And I said, nothing. He was just, poking me and, annoying me. And they said, so they went over to him. I did not ask this. Scout's honor. And yes, I was a scout. My troop was disbanded for a variety of reasons. So they went over to him and they punched him a couple of times and told him not to bother me. This was the first time anybody unsolicited had come to my defense. So of course I wanted to join their gang, right? But back to Bobby. Bobby and I went to South Shore High School, and it wasn't a particularly safe place to be in school. And Bobby never asked them to help, but I noticed they tended to keep their eye on him because he was just, how when you go to grade school and then you go to high school, you have these bonds that existed in grade school kind of tends to transfer to high school. I'm sure you all had that experience, perhaps. That's assuming you went from grade school to high school with the same group of kids. And so they protected him, not because, as I say, he didn't insinuate himself into the group. He just was that nice that they didn't like to see people. One thing I found about the Black youth in my community and why I became a young Black boy myself later on is that I noticed their value system, their sense of fairness was much stronger than the white people around me. The Black kids just typically didn't think you should pick on somebody smaller than you. If you're going to fight somebody your size or bigger. That was not the way it was operating before they showed up, because our neighborhood was a changing neighborhood. So, I'd grown up with mostly white kids who, like the Catholic kids, would just torment us. And the Black kids didn't think that the Jewish kids should be tormented by these white Irish children from the parochial school, St. Philip Neri, down the street. And so they intervened. They had and even when Black kids came around and started messing with us, the Black kids that we had gone to grade school with were very quick to take up for us and say, hey, man, leave those kids alone. So I really appreciated it because I was terrified. My father was beating me at home, and then I was going to school. And since I was in the second grade, people were picking on me and punching me and stealing my money or whatever. So when things began to shift and I found I was not the outlier, well, I was with the Blackstone Rangers. I mean, they didn't really actually let me join outlier, but they did treat me kind. They didn't rob me. They didn't punch me. They didn't tweak my nose or pull my ears or choke me with my scarf. So I really had an affection for these kids, and I'm still trying to track some down from 8th grade. Yeah. So that was my relationship with the world. Is if you're willing to treat me like a human being, I'm going to be your pal. All right. Well, it's time to wrap it up. Nobody asked anything in the last 13 minutes. Kathy was the last one to say, do you have pie or ice cream? And she got her answer, just as you could have gotten an answer. So anybody who tunes into this and it's not live, and you say to yourself, well, who's commenting? Like, for instance, you're on YouTube. Well, anybody can comment. You can comment on YouTube, even if the show is over. I'll get a notice. There's a comment. Same thing with if you comment after the fact on this Facebook podcast, I get a notice, and I will engage with you, even if you post in the middle of the night saying something like, are you always a jerk, or was today special? At first I'll get all upset and I'll get, insecure. Like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was being a jerk. They all thought I was a jerk. Nobody's ever going to listen to me again. I'm dirt. I eat worms. Oh my God. Nobody likes me. Nobody likes me. I eat worms. I eat worms. Okay? All right. So we do metta at this point in time. And notice Ann Sisler hasn't been peeking in lately very much. I hope she does get a chance because she was always encouraging about this metta, this loving kindness thing. And I'm glad Chris made it. I don't know if Becky made it, but maybe she's hiding undercover. I don't know. I'm babbling. I'm babbling because I can. How about that? You know, here's the thing. Before I do meta, let's make it really clear. If you don't like the way I babble, you have two options. One, don't even tune in. But the other one is generate your own path. You do it. It's real simple. You just post a comment. And as long as it's not inane, and as long as it's directed at me, then I'm going to go down that lane with you. We'll hold hands. We can skip, okay? We don't even have to, we can skip down that lane. We'll have a good time. We can walk our dogs while we're doing it. No, I don't have a dog. That's irrelevant. This is all imaginary. Will you stop being so literal? Okay, you're sitting there to yourself. Oh, I didn't even know he had a dog. I don't have a dog, and I don't walk my cats. So there. But with just the slightest urging, I'm happy to take anything, anytime during the show and skip down memory lane, for instance. Perhaps you have your own memory of me or of life on the South Side or life in Dallas. Joan grew up in Calumet City. Lisa, I think, is from somewhere small and then moved to Dallas. Rachel's from the North Burbs. Yeah, we all have our roots someplace. So babbling is good today. Could always babble with you. Thank you, Ray Dean. All right. Hands together before our hearts. Bow our heads. Close our eyes. Take a deep breath. Decompress. And think to ourselves, may I be happy, healthy, and free from harm. May I be free from anger, anxiety, and fear. And may this practice lead us to greater peace and comfort. So may my mother and father and all my living family members and all my friends be happy, healthy, free from harm. May they all find the path that leads them to a life of greater peace and comfort. And to those persons I find difficult, whatever resentments or ill will I may harbor, in this moment, let me set it aside. May they be happy, healthy, free from harm. May they be living their lives in peace and comfort. And to all living beings, all sentient beings, if you don't know what sentient is, it's a primarily Buddhist term. Feel free to look it up. May all sentient beings, wherever they may be throughout the universe, be the recipient of our collective goodwill. May all living beings be happy, healthy, free from harm. May they be safe, comfortable, and have joy in their lives. Satu, Satu, Satu. Well, you're welcome, Joan. Thank you, Kathy. Whatever happened to Debbie, Kathy? You should find out. She stopped listening, I guess, huh? I probably said something offensive without meaning to. Remember, I said whenever it's unclear, the fault falls to me. I immediately chastise myself. Debbie's not listening anymore. It's my fault. I don't know what I did. Horrible person. I eat worms. Thank you, Mark and Ann. Thank you for tuning in. And Chris, and Ray Dean, and Kathy, and Lisa, and Rachel, and Joan. I wish you all the best of evenings. And I hope, if you're not too busy, tomorrow at 6 p.m., going to do it again. Peace out.